Welcome to another episode of Uncensored Daily Radar, where your fellow foiled friend scans the entire globe for what may or may not be artificial and nefarious activity. We go through satellite radar, as well as the Zippity Zip Zap radar, aka NEXRAD, to better understand atmospheric and environmental conditions in full context. Before we get started, there are a few things that you should know. Number one, I repeat, I am not a meteorologist, but I am a tinfoil hat-wearing conspiracy theorist, which obviously makes me far more qualified to analyze atmospheric conditions. Number two, videos are fairly short, but feel free to skip ahead to any section you're most interested in. And lastly, if you'd like to see these daily radar videos, please consider becoming a paid subscriber. Otherwise, this video is about to reach a paywall, and we'll pause right now. Now. Okay. All right, let's get started. Good evening. It is October 28th, about 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's get started. All right. I'm energized. It is not 2 a.m. in the morning. It is now 8:30 at night, which perfection. All right. Actually, you know what? Why are we over here? Normally I start the show here, but I don't want to start the show here today. I want to start the show here. We must see what's going on with Melissa. All jokes aside, this storm is, as I've been saying, as I've been preaching, this storm is a monster. And 1 to 4. 1 to 4. Overnight, when the glitch happened, couldn't see anything. Nuts. Oh, and I went to reconfirm when I had done the show that night. I believe it was the, what was it, 25th or 26th? Okay, I pulled up my notes. So, sequence of events, because I'm making a video on this. October 21st, it was a tropical storm. Melissa makes its way into the Caribbean. By the way, these notes are not official. I mean, they are, I'm working on it. My show, I noted trails were present, particularly on the east and north sides of the storm. On the 22nd, still a tropical storm. The NOAA satellite feed on my show showed that 10 hours of time was skipped and continued to move westward. Then on the 23rd, it skipped another 18 hours worth of time sporadically throughout that day. And then a lot of that missing time was reinserted the next day, which again, guys, I've been doing this a while, right? We haven't seen that really happen. So that missing time was all of a sudden there again, 24 to 48 hours later. So the question is, are they blocking our view, taking some of that footage, modifying it, or eliminating things from it that could be damning, and then putting back the rest? Or maybe they're not modifying at all. Maybe they're just combing through it, being like, okay, well, we can put back this, but we got to keep this. I don't know. But 18 hours total time during the course of the 23rd, that was gone. Then on the 24th, it was still a tropical storm. Trails continued to be present. The NOAA satellite feed was normal. And then on the 25th, that was when, so trails continued to be present. The NOAA satellite feed skipped 11 hours consecutively in the middle of the night. And when it came back online, it was a Category 4 once the feed reinstated. 27th, it was a Cat 5. As of right now, it is a Cat 3. It just passed over the edge of Jamaica as a Category 5. It was over land as a Category 5. We do not have a lot of footage from Jamaica right now. They're still dealing with the hurricane. Yeah, the eye is just off the edge, but the hurricane is still very much overhead, as we can see. Hold on, this is showing a lot. This is right. Did I load the whole thing? What the heck? Hold on. Okay, yeah, so let me bring this down. Downtown. Oh, come on. Seriously? Boom. So the 26th, the 27th. Wait, did they erase? that glitch. Oh, okay, no, I just went past it. Okay. And look at that. You see that? Oop, skirt. What was that? Huh. You know what? Let me look at this time code. I do not want to miss a skip for the, okay, 27th. These should be hour intervals. 14, 15, 16. 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. That's roughly 60 minutes. Some of these are slightly off, but that's fine. Okay, it all looks good for the 28th after it's already done its damage. Boom. Look at that speed. Here, I'm going to play this without so let's look at the increase in how fast it's moving. What was that? Did you see that? Where was that? Hold on. Is that everywhere or is that just over the hurricane? I've never seen the satellite glitch in this particular way. Doesn't mean that there's something nefarious. I mean, we've seen it glitch before, but this particular brand of glitch I haven't seen when it looks like that. It's like interference. Wonder if it skips time here. 10:40, 11:40. No, it doesn't. So it's probably fine, but worthy of note taking. Okay. Gosh, should we go into next red? No, I feel like we should cover Melissa first because this is one of the biggest storms that it is the biggest storm of it is the most dangerous storm of 2025, record breaking, and considered one of the most powerful storms ever recorded. Again, there's not a lot yet available to see. These people are fighting for their lives right now. Supposedly, what I'm going to show you, this is what is said, is from Jamaica. You know, sometimes people will show like old footage or somewhere totally unrelated, but supposedly this is in Jamaica right now. Growing up in South Florida, I really loved hurricanes. Because as a kid, it was very exciting. You didn't have to go to school for sometimes over a month. And all the kids would just play outside and the power was out. So everyone would just be together. There was no TV. Yeah, we don't think we had internet. Yeah, we didn't have internet at the time. But see what I mean by my dog? He always just starts walking right as I do the show. Click, click, click. I cut his nails. Don't blame me. I cut his nails. But, what was I even saying? The clicking drives me nuts. And of course, like, we have rugs in this house. But, yeah, I have rugs in this house. But this dog is like, right now during your show, I'm going to walk in the few places where you can hear me as loud as humanly possible. As loud as dogly possible. Anyway, when the storms would go overhead, because I was in South Florida. When the storms would go overhead, one of my most amazing things was when the eye wall would pass over. you would get a break. Everyone would go outside and assess the damages, which thankfully back then, most of what came through hardly did any damage to at least the homes I lived in. We were lucky. But look at that. It flew right into the eye wall, and that's exactly what it looks like. You look up, see a beautiful blue sky. The weather is perfect. The weather is like perfect in the eye. I'm actually kind of surprised to see some clouds down here at all. Pretty amazing. This is one of the videos that's been going around. I like this guy. He's got the, I guess this might be offensive to say, but he's got that American spirit, because you always see, the American, actually, particularly the Floridian spirit. But of course, he's Jamaican. He's got the Jamaican spirit. But yeah, you see what I mean? When I would go out during these hurricanes, in the middle of them, not in the middle of them, but when the eye wall would come in and walk around, oftentimes the roads would be flooded. And back then I never even thought twice about playing in the water. Now, gosh, who knows what's in that water? Man. This is brutal.
Everybody back right now. Look at the dog for the fence. Put the dog for the fence. Class.
Terrible. All right, yeah, there's a few of them. I'll just show you the tail end of this one. Yeah, not good. The footage that'll be coming out over the next couple of days is, it's probably going to be heartbreaking. And we'll cover the news for Melissa as well. Normally, we'll cover NexRad because I know a lot of you guys are new, and thank you so much for subscribing. Normally, we'll cover NexRad first, and then we hop into some data and news, and then we'll come back into NexRad, do a deep dive of certain areas, and then we check out trails. But because these are extenuating circumstances, we're doing things a bit out of order. Also, I love the fact that this guy, for liability purposes, they have him in a helmet and protective gear.
In Parish, Jamaica. Robert, this looks like it's worsened considerably since last time we checked in.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. Yeah, these are the strongest winds so far that we've experienced here. And again, I have to stress this for our viewers. If I lose you, we are operating solely on a battery power generator and Starlink right now, including how I'm listening to you via Wi-Fi. But yeah, we've got some pretty good strong wind gusts coming through here with driving rain as well. Vegetation everywhere just swaying back and forth. And, right now, at least the structures that I can see are holding up, and that's a good thing. Quarter mile down this roadway is the Caribbean Sea. That may be a different story as the wind continues to kick around and move through that two-lane highway and a lot of smaller structures. A little bit of a lull here from just a second ago when you came to us. That's just the way it goes when you have these bands that are coming in. And clearly, Hurricane Melissa that we know made landfall at 185 miles per hour to the southwest of us earlier today, and now just making its way through Montego Bay and ravaging that area. I can tell you this, all the reports that we're seeing out of Montego and that area 50 miles to the west of us are not good. Big time wind gust right now coming through here like a train, and you can hear all that wind howling off the mountainsides and down these roadways. It's just, I don't know if you can actually get through this community here.
And also Florida, I haven't forgotten about you guys. For those of you who may not know, Florida received some pretty insane amounts of rain. More than 19 inches fell in just a few hours. I mean, it was, it was pretty bad. And it seems unrelated, possibly unrelated to the hurricane down south. We're definitely going to be looking into that. All right, let's dig into NEXRAD. Every single glow you see here is a NEXRAD radar station. The official statement is that's just simply Doppler radar helping us track weather systems, give us forecasts, things like that. Well, the conspiracy theory is that these towers are equipped with more technology than just Doppler, but they can actually utilize that built-in microwave technology to heat up the atmosphere. And that can do several things. One, obviously, it can heat up areas, create excessive drought, make them more prone to wildfires. Two, if you can create a wild temperature swing that inevitably results in major winds, severe winds. We're hearing a lot about micro bursts, which are essentially tornado force winds, but just moving straight. It's like normal wind moving around, but it's going the speed of a freaking tornado. And we're hearing about those quite often. And another thing, by creating these heated areas, you're creating high pressure zones. And high pressure zones can be used to steer low pressure systems, AKA storms. So theoretically, if you could do this, you could create high pressure zones here with the storm here, and it would be forced to stay along the path that you've given it. Other things are, it's theorized that these towers can emit certain frequencies that can manipulate humans or animals themselves. Okay, so at night, the towers do get more sensitive. And so when you see this kind of glow go across, that's because of that. But also, those of you who are new, we spent a while trying to figure out. Now, there's a lot of interesting things that can go on with NEXRAD, and you'll pick it up as you watch the show, so I'll bring up different things. One of those things has been the excessive green over the country, which lately we've seen far less of. And the excessive blue, which again, we're seeing far less of over the last couple of days, actually. It was to the point where like this green glow would take up whole sections of the country. At one point, it covered like the whole country. And the leading excuse for that are the birds. So right now, this area is glowing. So straight line down the center of the U.S. along, in fact, let me just hold them next to each other. I'm going to show you this next to it. This is NEXRAD. They use NEXRAD to track bird migration because the Doppler reflects off of materials, and apparently the way they reflect off of birds is distinct enough where they can actually identify that it is birds that they are picking up. So let's see. Yeah, going down the center here. Florida. Well, it doesn't account for this area here that's glowing. And then up here. Okay. And then over here hasn't been lit up yet because it is not, the sun hasn't quite set here yet, so we don't really know what's going on there yet. But yeah, it is fairly consistent, but it's also consistent with the pressure map, which, could make sense because the bird map and the pressure map would relate because birds aren't going to fly through storms, right? They're going to want to fly through high pressure zones, more likely. But so this would be low pressure, and then this would be high. Oh, so interesting. The pressure map doesn't actually really relate. Yeah. Oh, wait, no, we don't know yet because once again, the sun hasn't set yet. But generally, the pressure map and the bird map look similar. But so we were wondering, okay, when they're influencing the pressure, is that indicated by the color that they're emitting? But I was like, I don't think so. It looks like something's floating through the air. I don't know what it could be. But again, some people think that this is like falsified information. Some people think that this is like a patsy, that this isn't actually a bird migration map. I don't know. I don't know. I think it's probably a bird migration map. I think it's probably the case. But there's a chance it's not. There's a chance that there's something else going on, that there's something else in the air that it's picking up. But either way, there are many other things that go on NEXRAD that give me very good information. All right, so it looks like there are trails here, just judging by the way the precipitation looks. All right, this was last night. Looks like there were trails here and here. Not just because it's raining, just because of the way the precipitation looks. Ooh, so we have like right out of the gate some severe storms popping in. Let's check that out actually. Interesting waves coming through there. That's supposedly birds, those waves. Which I don't buy. Because why would all these birds be flying towards the development of severe storms? Looks like the precipitation is coming straight out of these waves, actually. Yeah, look at that. And wow, these go straight into severe heavy rain. And I see some rippled radar here. For those of you who are new, I'll find a better example of it because that was sort of faint. And also there was only one of them, so that could very well be nothing. I don't know though. Hold on, let's pull up the weather warnings. Look at that. Tornado watch. That just started. It's going until 10 p.m. Okay, so those storms going through are no good. Wind advisory, tornado. Wow, look at this whole area. This does not look good, Dave. Look at all this wind. Oh my gosh, all these areas have major wind advisories and also freeze watches. But then also fire warnings. We've got the whole trifecta. Okay. Now we're going to zoom into every area of the country. But I just want to get a general. Yeah, I really want to see what this is about. Look at how this is behaving, this area here. Look at that. It's a wall. So this must be a high pressure zone over here. Hold on. Wait, is it though? I can't remember. Where is the pressure? Okay, so like we've got a low pressure area right here. Wait, no, this low pressure area should be here. Okay, the times aren't identical though. Okay, so it is expected to shift. And there's a high pressure zone over here that could be stopping it. It just looks odd. I wonder what those trails look like. Again, I don't know for sure that there's trail. I mean, it looks like it to me. Let's go see. Baba Ganoush. Baba Ganoush. Okay, yeah, there's lots of trails in here. Okay. And they are swooping down. Lots of trails, lots of trails, lots and lots and lots of trails. Whoa. Yeah, it's so weird seeing that glitch appear like that. That looks like interference. That looks exactly like when a signal can't transmit. Remember in the old school days with television? Oh yeah, people still have TVs, don't they? But I would doubt that you ever have issues like this. Lots and lots of lines. Line, 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 line. Line, 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 line. La 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 line. Lines. Look at all those though. My gosh. They're faint in there. So, oh yeah. Color. Gosh, I don't think I've mentioned this in a while. The color is the altitude. So black is high, goes down to low. Well, actually pink is dust. That's a different category. But black is high, purple is low. So when they're mixed in, it's kind of hard to see, but they're all over. This area is loaded with trails. Let's see how this looks. Yeah, even, okay. Oh, they're like doing this. Ooh. Ooh. See that? These are going up like this. This is going up like this. This is still pushing east though. Let's check out the wind. Wow, actually, it looks like it's doing this. Oh, it's doing both. Wow, no wonder this area is looking super weird. So this whole area here is moving at a completely different speed as well. So it's like going like this in the south, but going in the opposite direction in the north. So everything's just getting stretched. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. Very interesting space there. I wonder what the rainfall is like in that area. And it looks like there are trails coming off the coast here. Let's just scooch on over and check that out. Oh yeah. Line, line, line. Plenty of lines mixed in here. See all these. It's like a child with a piece of paper and one crayon. All over here. Yeah, we'll switch satellites to see that a little bit better. All right, so we're gonna jump into data and then in some news, and we'll come back to this. So I want to check out all of these weather warnings. Guys, I woke up so late this morning. I hate doing that. Well, because I fell asleep at like after 2 o'clock in the morning because I think I was doing this show at 2 o'clock. All right, beach hazard statements along the edge here. No warnings here. Gale warnings along the eastern edge. Drought warnings in New York, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, and near Grand Rapids over in Michigan. What? So that is fairly consistent with that static radar. For those of you who've been following along, you know what I'm talking about. Because remember, we're trying to find out what these glitches, what these artifacts are actually representing to see if we can find a pattern. I've only been doing this show since March. Before that, I was only checking sporadically. But ever since checking every day, I've learned so much. This warning is still right here at the crack of Tennessee and North Carolina. Wind advisory right there. We have wind advisories throughout the entire state of Arkansas. Got wind warnings in the whole state of Oklahoma. Massive portions of Texas, Mississippi, Louisiana. Louisiana. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Hey. Oh, my dog. He was laying on my fiber optics cable for my internet. And what else we got going on here? Over in Missouri, drought. Excessive winds. We have drought warnings. I mean, there's wind all over the place. And we have freeze warnings. So remember, what what creates wind? Two temperatures collide. Let's see the temperature map, because I would bet it's warm over here and cold over here, and the wind is moving this way. Not quite as dramatic as I was expecting, but yes, we do have a lot of very cold air over here. We're seeing, what? Below 0 temperatures and around 15 degrees coming in here, moving this way. And over here you have the 70s down to the 50s. So yeah, look at all that. That is, and this is coming down this way. Whoop. Holy mackerel. How does anyone live up there? Whew. Isn't it crazy that over here it's warm and then over here it's cold? I'd be living on a boat. I just want to be right here. Wherever it's the hottest, that's where I want it, right there. Right there. That's where I want to be. But yeah, cold front. Anyway, yeah, I woke up super late. I didn't even make my bed this morning. I didn't put on makeup today. I did straighten my hair because, you know, when my hair's not straightened, I just have to wear that hat in every video, and it gets annoying. Freeze warning over in Arizona. We've got still around LA County heat advisories and some fire warnings, red flag warnings. This area, like I said yesterday, I had someone reach out. Or was that the day before? I don't know. Someone reached out and mentioned that their air looked like white dust was everywhere and that their throat was hurting because of it. And they said there was, they couldn't smell smoke, but it was smoky. Not like, it was similar to smoke, but there wasn't a smell of smoke. And so I dug into it. There was not a fire nearby, no smoke nearby, because we've got the smoke map, and there were no fires nearby. I mean, the only one that was nearby was this one, but this one was ended already when I clicked on it. It is 100%, it's been 100% contained for a long time. The AQI was bad in the area. I wonder if it still is, actually. What is the AQI? Yeah, it's still not great, but better than before. It looked like there was looked like this, where like there was an actual fire happening. So I don't know. The plot thickens. I don't know what this is about, but now they all of a sudden have some interesting warnings. Winter weather watch, Utah drought. How interesting that we have these sporadic drought warnings just all over the country simultaneously. Our country is really, really big. We shouldn't be seeing that much consistency popping up like that on the same day. Just want to make sure those weren't warnings now. And we already checked out Melissa, Category 3. They're expecting it to strengthen again to Category 4 before hitting Cuba. And then it should go down to a Category 3 again and move on out. And then yeah. We shall see what happens to this guy. That is a really big cone. Guys, have we ever seen a cone that big before? I mean, they are making really big predictions. Projection and prediction. Sometimes I combine the words. Keep doing that. And then Sonia is just taking her darn frickin' time. Guys, she was over here on Friday. She moves very slowly, though not as slowly as Melissa. Melissa was moving 3 miles an hour. That's how fast we walk. Yeah, but this guy I'm watching, or girl, sorry. Although, how dare I assume that Sonia is a woman. This guy should be going south of Hawaii. I certainly hope that's the case. There's a lot of wind here. Wow, that is a powerful... And over here, this whole area has gotten a lot of this kind of activity. The wind speeds are quite intense, as you can see over here. And then... Oh, Mantha did go inland into India. Okay, that's about it for those cyclones. All right, let's check on that dust. Okay, so the Saharan dust is back in the Atlantic, and it's taking up a decent amount of space where hurricanes will typically form. This used to be like all the way over here, and at one point it was all over here, and it was making the headlines earlier this year. But this has been a dominant force here in the Atlantic all year, which is why we haven't really even had hurricanes, whereas, you know, this area's had so many this year. But every time this area the dust kind of goes away, it never goes away, but, you know, maybe the winds change and it's more over Africa than in the Atlantic, or maybe it dips down south temporarily, giving some hurricanes a chance to form over here, because a lot of these hurricanes form right here. Yeah, but if this disappears again, or, you know, give some way, we might see some more systems forming again. You know, some of our worst storms lately have been in the wintertime, which is just disgusting. All right, air quality. My dog is staring at something. My cat must be doing something mischievous. All right. Here's the AQI situation. Looks like there's a fire there, fire there. Ooh, that's intense up here. Wow, look at that. Hazardous. Wonder what the smoke is like over there right now. Yeah, I don't get this. I don't get this. How is there no smoke? If the air quality is that bad, that means it's airborne. Unless it's not a fire that's causing it. Looks like there's a big cluster here, so yeah, it's a little further away from where it is. Yeah, I don't know. Smoke. All right, let's see more about this air quality. Nitrogen dioxide. This follows the sun, but it is worse on the eastern side. PM 2.5. Worse right here, where all that rain is. However, it is also where all the wind is kind of colliding. So it could be carrying things and just collecting here. Aerosol, same thing. Sulfur dioxide, whoa. This is a really interesting pattern for sulfur dioxide. We see a huge amount down here still, which is likely from whatever fire's going on in Mexico. But then we have sulfur dioxide. Okay, and then there's that supposedly fire over here. That's kind of coming down, I guess. And then these areas are colliding. But yeah, that is an interesting pattern. And it's expected to do this over the coming days. Surface ozone. Not good down here. But generally, this looks different. Carbon monoxide, same old, just better over here than anywhere else, and that's about it. Fire danger, extreme down here and here. I'm not seeing too much in the areas where some of these fire warnings are, though. So that is interesting. This area here is pretty intense. So we're expecting extreme colds here. These are the extreme temperatures. Ooh, extreme warms. Okay, we already talked about the fire and the smoke. As far as earthquakes are concerned, there was a 6.0 over here yesterday. I noticed there's always an earthquake, a big earthquake near hurricanes, which that can happen naturally. It's pretty far north. For that area. 2.7, that's, nobody probably felt that. We already clicked on that the other day. Okay, nothing abnormal that I'm seeing over here at least. All right, let's see what's going on in Florida. Oh, is no one talking? Yeah. Well, you get the point. It flooded. Here's one that's kind of talking about it.
We've got more rounds of rain for portions of the southeast. In fact, frequent rounds of heavy rainfall could lead to some flooding with some of the strong storms that are moving through, really from portions of the Gulf Coast of Texas all the way into Florida. And Florida, boy, you've been dealing with it. Look at some of the video coming in from Atlanta and Panama City, Florida. Atlanta could see some delays even at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. So getting there could slow you down, or if your plane's coming from there, you're flying out of there, call ahead of time. Look at these impressive rainfall totals. This isn't a 24-hour period. Many spots just shy of 19 inches of rain, almost shy of 2 feet, if you will. Mount Dora, Florida, 16.26 inches of rain. From Florida, dealing with some heavy rainfall. And notice all concentrated in one general location. What happened here? Well, we had a front that stalled out. Now, today, we still have some flood alerts in place. We've got a flood watch for some of these showers. It won't take much at this point to cause some localized flooding because this is the area that was greatly affected. This is central portions of Florida, Orlando to Daytona Beach, even just portions south of Jacksonville. Stalled front didn't move much. Boy, a lot of moisture to work with just got wrung out in the same spot. So having said that, you get maybe half an inch to an inch of rain today, you know you are likely to see some localized flooding. Now, the flood threat is on the lower end. It is a level 1 out of 4 for Titusville all the way down to just
They made a boo-boo.
south of Fort Lauderdale, just north of Miami Beach. Again, you don't need a lot of rain in this situation. Notice the storms off of the Atlantic side. Some of those will be very close to you. Thunder and lightning included within those. As I look up to the alert system, we don't have any tropical storm warnings. We got one for Walton County, Florida, and Washington County, Florida, until 45 minutes after the hour. You also see some heavy rainfall getting trained and pulled up into portions of Alabama and Georgia. Here's why you could see some slowdowns in Georgia. We could see some heavy rainfall for East Tennessee. Some of that will make it into western North Carolina. So watching closely the forecast there as we're still going through recovery efforts after we had so many impacts from Helene. Now, what we watch closely is the storm as we go through the day today lifts a little farther north. More storms are in the forecast for you. Atlanta, Georgia, you can see a wet morning for you. Again, slowing you down, not only getting back to work and to school, but your flights could be delayed as well. We'll get a few more rounds this afternoon, and watch even for the potential for some waterspouts closer to southern Louisiana for the morning hours.
Lovely. Crocodiles could invade Jamaican neighborhoods in wake of Hurricane Melissa flooding, officials warn. Yeah, usually they would. Yeah, at least in South Florida, they would do that. I mean, they hung out in the backyards anyway. But yeah, during hurricanes, they'd get very confused because there's water everywhere and the lakes would just become really big. Yes, kitty? You wanna say hello? Kitty. Okay. But yeah, that could for real be an issue. Then it wasn't crocodiles. We had alligators. I've heard crocodiles can be more aggressive, but I don't know. Maybe it's just because that's just probably something that I heard about as a kid, and I never confirmed that. He's a cute little dinosaur.
Through the area this weekend, the storms knocked down trees in north.
So over in Texas, it is confirmed that a tornado did indeed touchdown and brought 100-mile-an-hour winds. Yeah, on Friday night. Yeah, we were watching that.
And a sense of safety, though, for many. What was meant to be a week.
Oh, I was going to say that tornadoes are oftentimes not even confirmed to have existed until several days after the fact, because they go and they assess the damage and they see what direction the wind was. And now with all these new things that are, I mean, not technically new, they've existed, but not, appearing so frequently, These microbursts, which is essentially just wind, but moving at the speed of a tornado. Those are appearing fairly regularly now, which is terrifying. And because those are not predictable. And neither are tornadoes, but you can see areas where tornadoes might happen. These microbursts, they'll just go, it's a straight wind and it'll take down super established trees on mountains and rip up houses off the ground. It's wild. And then you have cloud bursts where rain will just drop instantaneously out of the sky with the force to crush a car. Nuts. Anyway, all right, major earthquakes. This is about that earthquake over in the Caribbean that I pointed out. That's 6.8. Quake occurred at 12:38 UTC, October 27th. Ooh. Let's look at that. Let's go to 12:38 UTC on October 27th. Okay, so it happened over here. So like right over here at 12:27 UTC on the 27th. Wait, am I mixing this up? 12:38 UTC on the 27th. So right 12:38. So like right around here. Right around here. So let's see if anything looked weird. I mean, maybe this looks like it could have been impacted. It looks like it kind of goes out, but no, I'm not really seeing anything interesting. 12 right here. I mean, maybe it looks like something happened right here with the ripples in the clouds. Like, see, boom, boom, boom. Looks like a little circle over here. But maybe I'm just looking for things. Maybe that's not really there. I don't know. Anyway, no tsunami warning was issued and no immediate reports of damage. As far as plane crashes, there were 11 killed in Kenya while en route to Masai Mara National Reserve. Now, I don't have NexRad there, so I can't really see if anything was up. There was a small plane crash. A young flight instructor just landed a commercial pilot job. Oh man, these young kids. That's so sad. I wonder where this was. Where was this? Denver, Colorado. Yesterday. What time? Actually, I don't really see anything going on in Colorado for yesterday. Well. Oh, okay. October 19th. Yeah, I'll have to go back on my show and look back because I have no access to that footage unless I go onto my show and then I pull it up. All right, let's do our little deep dive into regions of NexRad, and then we'll hop into some trails and finish up. I'm going to look at the far western states, then the far eastern states, and then we'll check out the central portion. This still is acting the way it did before those fires ignited, so that is interesting. Looks like some trails are coming in here. We did confirm that. This has been doing that periodically a lot. And then look what this tower does, actually. That's weird. See all that? That's a glitch. Supposedly. But we've been seeing that now. I remember the first time I saw that, I thought it was the craziest thing ever. And when it happens here, this tower goes out. Not goes out, but stops transmitting to the server. Many of them have been going black. This one stopped transmitting to the server as well. At the same time. So it's like these two act up and then this one acts up. Oh, and this one too. Boom, 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 boom. It starts here, 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 in a straight line. All of this flame-like radar coming off of there, which usually means that there's a high wind event or a potential fire that might start in the next 24 to 48 hours. Let's hope that doesn't happen. Lately, I haven't been seeing that correlation 100%. Mostly it's the wind. This is a lot going along almost the entire western seaboard, definitely along the entire western seaboard of California. Really coming off this tower here. And the zip zaps you see in Southern California, that's 100% of the time. Literally, I've never seen that not happen. But when the second tower here starts to join in, that is unusual, and it does seem to be joining in a bit. And that is a pretty powerful beam going out there. I'm not used to seeing that over there. So yeah, Southern California's got some weird stuff going on. Look at all that activity. That is higher amounts of activity than normal. Ooh, looks like it's starting up that spin. That is weird. So this is right now, so I can't go any further than that, but that is odd. Yeah, it definitely looks like there's trails over here. All right, let's see what went down in Florida. Actually, I'll zoom into that after. Okay, definitely trails over here. Interesting. Some of that rippled radar going on. Let's see if we see it more than once. Once could be an artifact. An artifact is well, supposedly the official statement is that it's a reflection off of birds or insects. It's a glitch in the radar. It's not present in the physical world. The conspiracy theory is that when you see it excessively, it's evidence of frequency manipulation. Which, I mean, I've been able to predict certain crazy things happening in the weather just off of that rippled radar. And yeah, it looks like it got it on multiple sides, here, here, and here, just before dropping 19 inches of rain. And it got it repeatedly. I'll zoom in there. I am going to look up here first before I do that. Yeah, that front is really staying put. All right, you. Let's see what you've been doing. Yeah, so just before, in fact, let's get more of a history on this thing. So it's coming in. So it looked like not much was going on over here, though there is severe storm over there. This was, okay, now we're entering the 27th. So yesterday. Now, okay, yeah. Incoming. So it got a lot of treatment just before hitting land. And for those of you who are new, that's not normal to see that with these. I mean, if you look over here, you're not seeing any of that. It's this one, and this is the one that dropped its almost 20 inches in a matter of hours, and it did get zip-zapped a lot. Here too. As it's moving across, and you see just before, boom, 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 dropped all its water. Goodbye. Yeah, I would say that is weird. I mean, really, though, it's not weird. It's predictable. And if I would have seen this live, I would have said, uh-oh, it's getting the treatment. Be weary. Dun 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 dun. Da da dun. Da da dun. Da da dun dun. Dun 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 dun. Yeah, this whole area is crazy. What? Look at all that. Whoa. It's all colliding. Yeah, I mean, Texas has been getting those static zip zaps, and those are pretty thick areas of constant glow. Look at that. Let's zoom in. I wonder what that is. They're totally still, whatever it is. I mean, this is, let's say, 7 o'clock UTC, and then they disappear at, yeah, 7 hours. 7 hours of that. And they're back in a sort of different way later. It's like a crystal. I'm almost done with the show, kitty cats. Yeah. I mean, look at that band here. Oh, there's rippled radar up here, actually. Hold on, let me see that. I only saw it once, so that's a good thing. I only saw it there. Boom, 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 boom. And when you see rippled radar excessively, a lot of the time, people, yeah, watch this band as I'm talking. It's kind of like a wave moving across the entire area. Oh yeah, there's one here. When you see excessive amounts, look up in the sky and you can see it represented in the clouds a lot of the time. And that should not be happening. See that wave? Yeah, so this storm that passed over Oklahoma definitely had some of that rippled radar going on. Possible frequency manipulation to have it drop the rain. All right, now let's cover trails for the rest of the planet. So we already covered. Let me zoom. What's going on here? Let's see. Do we see trails? Do we see trails today? I'm asking because I don't really see any obvious one. Yes, kitty cat. I am almost done. I'm almost done. Stop yelling at me. I'm not actually seeing. I don't think I'm seeing any. And we saw them every... Oh, okay. Well, there's evidence of some coming out the edges here. And some in here. Okay. Keep seeing them up here. And within as well. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Did before. Trails over here. Definitely trails throughout this entire weird thing going on over here. Ooh, excessive amounts up here. Y'all want to make me lose my mind. I've accidentally changed lyrics to things because I don't know them. Trails up here, lots of trails up there in Canada. Look at all that. Hey, I paused you. Respect my authority. Respect my authority. For those of you who don't know that reference, it's from a show, South Park. Eric Cartman, before he became... Then again, I stopped watching when, for like 2 seasons, they turned him into this pathetic little boyfriend boy. He was the most fun character in the show. All right, interesting. I do want to zoom in here. I've been seeing these black signatures. Was there a trail left over here? Well, these are skipping. Let me turn this into a 10-minute one. Hasn't loaded yet. I'm actually going to load that after because I'm going to have to reset the time frame to load that many frames, 10-minute intervals. Lots of trails coming in here from the Pacific and being left directly over Nevada, Idaho, Utah, Oregon, Washington. And that haze is just going off to the east everywhere else. And there's loads of trails being left here shooting up into Canada, but Canada's leaving their own. Hey, bada, hey, bada. I feel like I'm one of the, like an auctioneer or that's not an auctioneer. Obviously, that's like a baseball person, but it reminds me of an auctioneer. Okay. So many trails going out here into the Atlantic. My goodness gracious. Look at all that. Gosh. Europe's getting the treatment. You know what stinks is I haven't been able to get a good view of Europe since that storm hit Spain and Portugal. It glitched. I don't even think it's a glitch. They shut it off right before impact. And ever since then, I haven't gotten a clear shot of anything. Looks like there's still... Yeah, they're still leaving trails over here that are coming into Chile and Argentina. And there's some fresh ones being left overhead too. Chile and Argentina tend to have trails, sometimes Brazil. Argentina is a consumer of ice flares, which is that company I showed you yesterday. It's a product to disperse clouds. They use them here in the US as well. I will check back on those clouds after I'm done with this area. I get the feeling that there are trails here. I don't see any. I mean, I'm not seeing any lines, but I'm seeing other indicators that there are some. Or maybe not actually, because the color of what I'm seeing is higher in altitude than where it would be, but I don't see any trails over Hawaii. But I do see trails right here. Here. Looks like there are some mixed in there as well. Ooh, what's that? Trail remnants. Yeah, look at that. So they're over here and they're coming down to that black. See these lines, line, line, line. And they go into that. So many trails over here. Lots of trails being left over Alaska right now. And over here. Interesting altitudes happening right now. I'm not used to seeing so much yellow over here. Then again, I've never done this show at this time of year. I haven't done this for 1 year straight yet. I've been really excited to have gone through, like, to complete 12 months so that we can see every season. Got a lot of trails up here in Canada, as we talked about. And yeah, we have a lot of trails in here that are hazing out coming over here. Look at this. Where did that come from? That is interesting. Yeah, there are trails in there. My cat's like, you said you'd be done soon. This is soon, kitty cat. Wait. Oh, that's weird. I set it to... Yeah, why not? We can go back to that. 80 minute. Okay. I'm checking for missing time from now on. I'm gonna make a habit of making sure I don't ever miss that. Normally, I mean, I would notice it anyway, but, you know, I'm gonna definitely keep track. So there are trails in here, in these clouds that are heading out of Australia, moving into parts of New Zealand, line, line, line. And there are trails off the southeastern tip of Australia, and going over the southern tip of Australia, where you guys have had them lately. And there's India's storm coming in there. Woof. Russia's got them, which is not unusual. They always do them on their western side, but it looks like they also have them on their eastern and central. No, central, not eastern. Maybe eastern. It's hard to tell because there's a lot of other natural looking lined clouds over there. All right, I do want to check this out. Don't see any lines. Ooh, yeah, lots of trails over here. This is China, right? And then this is Kazakhstan? And that's Mongolia. Yeah, I think this is Kazakhstan. They've been doing it lately. Oh, yeah, let's check for skips. No, why did you throw me into 90-minute intervals? I want 60-minute intervals so I can see what you're doing. All right, no skips over here. Outside of, 10 or 20 minutes. All right, let's see. This is the one. This is the one that we've had trouble with. Let's see what's going on. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 23. Oh, I see. So it hasn't updated. Yeah, wait, an end date. Hold on. And then I want to go back further. Let's So he doesn't go back any further because the first 14 hours of yesterday aren't even available on here. All right, so how were you? 14, 15. What? Yeah, so it skipped a ton of time. Look at that. 16 goes straight into the 28th. It skipped like 9 hours. All right, so skipped an hour there. It skipped some hours ever since, but, you know, today we've seen most of it. So hopefully that is the last of their glitches. Have I told you how much I love my internet? I don't think I've said that yet today on my show. But I have to express my love for my internet every day. Oh my gosh. Guys, when I was first doing this, I had 1 gigabit internet, which I thought was awesome. I was like, I'm using Ethernet. I'm hardwired. Took forever to load, just 2 hours worth of time. And here I am able to load. I loaded 7 days worth of time yesterday with 60-minute intervals. And it took less time than it used to take to load 2 hours because I got the fancy pants internet now. I am such a nerd. I do it all for the show. I would have never needed this kind of internet if it weren't for this show. All right, so we do have trails coming in to Spain and Portugal and out here in the Atlantic, but that's like a constant. You guys never... It's a very rare occurrence to not see any trails overhead. And over here too. Moving in here. Oh my gosh. We done. All right, guys. Thanks for joining. And I will see you tomorrow. Have a good night. Whoops, I lied. Okay, so I do want to check out these black, it's super like ultra high altitude clouds. So we saw a ton of trails leading into these the other day. See all these trails right there? But I didn't know if there was a connection. So I do want to check out some of these other trails. Okay. So I loaded up the time to see. Although, well, all right, let's zoom into one of them, shall we? Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. Trail. And these are those super faint ones that normally I would have said were contrails, but lately they've not been looking like that from the ground. Apparently they fade out really fast. So yeah, this is a cluster of trails, at least in that one. Interesting. Maybe it's like this area is humid or packed with moisture coming off, probably like a mountaintop or something. When the trails come over and hit, look at, there's some trails here that are in the form of like a haze that's about to cross over this area. And look at that. Look at that. And you got more trails about to do that. Huh. What if those are cloud seeders? Because I don't know. I mean, they do try to bring snow to mountaintops at certain times, like ski resorts. Is that a ski resort? What is this, Utah? Let's just for kicks. All right, so ski resort. There are some down here, and possibly here, but over here, and I don't think that correlates. Well, hold on, right here. Right here. Interesting, but they don't normally do it like that. Normally when they're cloud seed, they go, well, actually, I suppose that's not true. They seed so that it can drop. Now, you typically wouldn't see trails from a cloud seeder. Huh. Okay, I'm going to have to look through contracts for Utah and see if they have anything recent, because the ski resorts would have to disclose those contracts. Because if we can identify what those are, that would be very interesting. And maybe that could account for why. I used to live in LA, and Big Bear, we would drive up to go skiing. And we're starting to enter the time where you could do that, but they made their snow. But what if they've got contracts for it? And maybe, I don't know. I'm just thinking. All right, now good night.